More than $600 billion. That's the number that jumped off the page this week. Moody's research, reported via DataCenterKnowledge, says the biggest U.S. hyperscalers are on track for over $600 billion in data center capex this year. This isn't an upgrade cycle. It's an economic rewiring.
And it's not abstract. The projects in that roundup are measured in gigawatts, a 900-megawatt AI facility under development in Abilene for Microsoft workloads. Meta talking about a $10 billion 1-gigawatt campus in El Paso with a 2028 launch. We're watching AI move from software feature to national infrastructure in real time.
So if you're wondering why every company is suddenly restructuring, why governments are rushing laws, why robotics is hitting mass production, it's because the compute supply chain is becoming the new oil pipeline. Let's start with the uncomfortable truth. AI progress right now is gated by power, land, and capital. When the top hyperscalers aim at more than $600 billion in capex in a single year, we're not talking about a new app. We're talking about the scaffolding of the next economy.
And the details matter. DataCenterKnowledge lists a $900 million facility under development in Abilene designed for Microsoft workloads. That's roughly the footprint of heavy industry. Plus Meta's plan, $10 and $1 in El Paso with a 2028 launch. Even if timelines slip, the direction is unmistakable.
From a business strategy standpoint, compute becomes a competitive moat. If your product depends on large-scale inference, copilots, agents, personalization, your unit economics are basically cost per token. The winners are the companies that secure cheap tokens.
Which is why we're also seeing efficiency breakthroughs getting elevated to headline status. TurboQuant, surfaced in that Crescendo AI roundup, is all about compressing the KV cache. Translation: long context models are memory hungry, and memory is expensive. If you shrink that footprint, you lower the cost of running a model with a big context window.
So it's like not just bigger brains, better metabolism.
Exactly. And then you zoom into vendor stacks. There's a Dell and NVIDIA infrastructure roundup talking about Blackwell-based clusters and Dell's AI factory concept, data orchestration, storage, server configurations. Whether you buy every claim or not, the meta trend is real. Enterprises want an end-to-end reference architecture so they can deploy faster and get predictable performance.
Here's the practical takeaway for leaders listening. Treat compute and data plumbing as strategic assets, not IT spend. If you don't know your AI workload's cost per outcome, cost per resolved ticket, cost per report drafted, cost per sales call summarized, you're flying blind.
That leads straight to OpenAI's Frontier announcement. They're packaging what a lot of enterprises are struggling with, building and running agents safely at scale. Frontier is pitched as an agent platform with shared context, execution environments, evaluation, and identity and permissions.
And they list early adopters that read like a boardroom roll call. HP, Intuit, Oracle, State Farm, Thermo Fisher, Uber. That's the signal. Agents aren't just a Silicon Valley toy. Big regulated companies want them, but they want guardrails.
Because production isn't a demo. The hard parts are, where does the agent get truth from? How do you constrain actions? How do you log decisions? And how do you evaluate performance? Frontier's message is basically, we're giving you the control plane.
Business implication. The middle layer becomes the battleground. Not model providers versus each other, but who owns the system, where agents are created, monitored, and improved. That's where lock-in lives.
And that's also why regulation is accelerating. States don't want a world where AI systems shape decisions, manipulate content, or impersonate humans without disclosures and accountability.
Plural Policy says 19 new AI bills became law in just 2 weeks, bringing the 2026 total to 25. That's not slow governance. That's lawmakers sprinting.
And it's not one theme. The examples range from New York's S8828, a framework for large-scale AI developers, to Oregon's SB 1546 on AI companion platforms, to Tennessee's HB 1513 requiring disclaimers on political ads using deepfakes or AI.
From a company perspective, this is the compliance nightmare scenario. 50 states, 50 definitions, 50 disclosure rules. That's why you'll hear more calls for federal preemption, just so businesses can operate.
Now zoom to Europe. The European Parliament's Enforcement of the AI Act briefing clarifies the hybrid model. Member states enforce most of the risk-based system obligations, but the European Commission, through the AI Office, exclusively enforces rules for general-purpose AI models. And as of March 2026, only 8 of 27 member states were listed with single points of contact.
So even where the law exists, the enforcement machine is still being built.
Exactly. That's why organizations should build governance like it's inevitable. Model inventory, provenance, audit logs, and human-in-the-loop controls, regardless of whether your regulator has staffed up yet.
Let's connect two stories that feel unrelated: humanoid robot factories and NAD trials. One is robots in warehouses, the other is health span supplements. But both represent the same thing: industrialization.
On the robotics side, Interesting Engineering reports a new Guangdong line targeting 10,000 humanoids per year, 1 unit every 30 minutes, with 24 assembly stages and 77 inspection points. That's what scaling looks like: process control, quality gates, repeatability.
And once manufacturing looks like that, pricing pressure follows. Suddenly, humanoid robot is not a research artifact. It's a SKU.
Now on longevity, NMN.com highlights a Nature Metabolism head-to-head trial. 65 healthy adults, 14 days. 1 gram per day of NR or NMN roughly doubled circulating NAD+, while nicotinamide didn't sustain the increase. The interesting hypothesis is that the gut microbiome mediates the effect by converting precursors to nicotinic acid.
That's the pattern again: less mystique, more measurement.
And then there's the LNAD+ preprint on BioRaxiv, a randomized placebo-controlled phase 01B setup in ages 45 to 75. 5 days of oral LNAD+ increased intracellular NAD by 53% versus placebo with an extremely small p-value, while circulating NAD didn't change. Short-term safety looked comparable to placebo, with 1 mild nausea event.
So if you're a viewer thinking, should I buy supplements? The grown-up answer is, biomarker engagement is not the same as health outcomes. But as science goes, this is progress: controlled trials, quantified endpoints, clear limitations. Quick hit number 1. Workforce. Tom's Hardware reports 78,557 tech layoffs from January through April, citing Nikkei Asia, with 47.9% attributed to AI and automation. Whether every company is being honest about the cause, the macro effect is the same. Organizations are reallocating budget from headcount to compute.
Quick hit 2. The EU enforcement readiness gap. Most member states have yet to fully designate their enforcement contacts under the AI Act. If you sell into Europe, don't wait for perfect clarity. Build compliance documentation now.
Quick hit 3. The story behind AI factory stacks. Vendors are packaging compute, storage, and orchestration as a single product because most enterprises can't afford a bespoke integration project for every model. Standardization is how AI spreads. That's the breakdown for today. The stories are moving fast, but the playbook for staying ahead doesn't change.
If any of this hit close to home for your industry or your role, the newsletter goes deeper every week. Link in the description.
We're Marcus Reed and Sarah Chen. This is your AI future. Subscribe if you want to keep up, and we'll see you tomorrow.